The streets of New York City have never been truly clean. Not in 1825, not in Debelit 1929, and not today. Beneath the gleaming towers and the tourist photographs in the carefully curated image of a civilized metropolis, something older and darker has always breathed, patient, territorial, and utterly without mercy. It began as so many American nightmares do, with desperate men willing to do whatever it took to survive. The Forty Thieves, operating as early as 1825, are considered the first known street gang in New York City's recorded history, and that single fact should stop you cold. Think about what that means. 200 years. 2 full centuries of organized violence woven so deeply into the fabric of this city that it has become, in many ways, indistinguishable from the city itself. The Dead Rabbits fought in the streets of the Five Points district with a savagery that tell its street mortality of plight bab aid stay straight. And for many have numbus plat said, for have probable plight heave not mine, shocked even hardened observers of that era. The Daybreak Boys prowled the waterfront in the 1840s, murdering for pocket change along the docks of the East River. Their crimes so brazen and so frequent that newspapers of the day struggled to keep count of the bodies. And yet these gangs were only the beginning, only the first crude sketch of what New York's criminal world would eventually become. By the time the 20th century arrived, something had changed. The violence had not diminished. It had organized. It had put on a suit and learned to shake hands and smile. The 5 families of the Italian-American Mafia, the Bonanno, Colombo, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese organizations, did not merely commit crime. They administered it. They structured it the way a corporation structures its divisions, with hierarchy and territory and consequence for anyone foolish enough to operate without permission. The DeMeo Crew, active from the 1960s until 1983, is believed responsible for somewhere between 75 and 200 murders, a number so large it strains comprehension. And that crew operated under the Gambino family's umbrella as casually as a subsidiary, reports to its parent company, Murder, Incorporated, which ran from 1929 to 1941 under the broader architecture of the National Crime Syndicate, functioned as a contract killing enterprise, serving the entire organized crime apparatus of the Eastern Seaboard. These were not men acting in rage or desperation. These were professionals, and that is perhaps the most frightening thing of all. But here is the question that should keep you awake at night, the question that the history books and the documentaries and the true crime podcasts rarely ask with the weight it deserves. How many of these organizations never went inactive? The list of gangs operating in New York City right now, today, this very moment, includes MS-13, the Latin Kings, the United Blood Nation, the 9 Trey Bloods gangsters, and all 5 families of the Cosa Nostra, which federal prosecutors have confirmed remain structurally intact despite decades of high-profile prosecutions. The Genovese family, descended directly from the Morello crime family of the 1890s, has operated continuously for over a century, 100 years. The same organization, the same hierarchy, the same ruthless logic of power and silence and retribution. Surviving every investigation, every informant, every RICO indictment thrown at it. And there is one final detail that closes around the throat like a hand in the dark. Criminologists and federal law enforcement officials have long suspected the existence of what some sources call a sixth family, an organization whose power and reach matches or surpasses even the established 5 families. Operating in New York City right now, in the present tense, structured in ways deliberately designed to be invisible to the methods law enforcement has spent decades perfecting. They do not know its full shape. They do not know all of its members. They only know that it is there, that it is watching, and that it has been watching for a very long time.